Hey, MMT followers, Christina Fuges with MoldMaking Technology back for another quick MMT chat. My guest today is Ty Johannesen. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
And he is a craftsman too in the tool and die operation at Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories, or SEL. Did I get that right?
Correct.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit today about a bunch of topics: workforce and talent, and shop floor, workflow, emerging technology. So why don't we just get right into it?
All right.
Okay, so I guess you just got promoted recently. But even before that, you transitioned from an intern to a full-time mold maker. So, in your opinion, what skills or training would have been the most valuable for you in preparing for all this, the machining processes that you work with, and all your mold making responsibilities?
Yeah, you're talking about my from intern into full time.
Yes,
So
yes.
like before, so the
Yep.
biggest one and being at an intern helps a lot because you have a lot more access to learning that you might not have otherwise. It's a little bit more free to ask questions and you're a little bit more you can shadow a lot more with your coworkers and they have a lot of good resources and knowledge to support you with. So that was a big part of it, is just getting with my coworkers and getting on whatever project they were doing and trying to understand what they were doing, why they were doing it. That was a big part for me, trying to understand. Molds are very complex and they can be simple, and then it's a spectrum. You can have really complicated molds, you have slides and all of that other components, or it could just be open close or a smaller mold especially. So
Go ahead.
oh, yeah, it's on that.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, really, and then just getting with them, and they would help me on the different machines. It You can't know everything all at once. It takes time to get good at each different process. And so I say when I first transitioned into full time, I still wasn't super proficient in a lot of the different processes. And so the past 6 to 8 months in like me being full time, I've really been honing in on machining graphite and then the sinker side of things. And I've been pretty much almost at like a station of doing that to try and hone my expertise in that area to really knock it down.
That's funny because I was going to ask you if looking back on your internship, what's like one thing you wish you had been taught earlier, and you just answered that question. Why that process? It was just something that wasn't part of when you were getting the training. It wasn't a concentration.
Yeah, well, then being an intern, I'm not there full time. It's a more lengthy process. The graphite and the sinker, there's pretty much a marriage there with the high speed and sinker. It's almost you got to do both of them together to
Yeah.
really get the full picture. And that's a little bit difficult to just give an intern. Also a little bit more advanced too. There's a lot more to it. Designing electrodes, machining electrodes, setting up the sinker, burning the sinker, making sure you get your electrode settings right. Um, oh, did you not have a good burn? Have fun
Mm,
adjusting it. You probably have to recut electrodes, that kind of thing.
yeah. So, okay, this is a nice tie-in then. So now you've had all this experience across machining CNC, sinker EDM, wire EDM, and I think even mold repair. What strategies or methods have you learned that help to ensure that consistent quality and efficiency day to day?
And so I've been kind of experimenting that a lot more. Just I've been on, I'm gonna call it almost a station. I've been
Hmm.
doing all this work in the EDM realm to try and hone my skills. And I've kind of been experimenting every single time. I've got a pretty good way of doing it now, and it has its good success for which first shot successes over in our plastics department. So that's been pretty cool to see.
Okay.
But
So no specific strategies or steps that
I'll,
you want to share. It's
I
just
was getting there. I was getting there. But pretty much, we have some new fixturing, which has been a awesome addition to our shop. That's been a great step. That's been pretty new. So I've been using that and that having a lot of success with that. And then I go over to the comparator now.
okay.
That's a little bit new for our shop. And being able to make sure my reduction is absolutely correct because my electrode's my tool that's going to burn my geometry and making sure and I dial in my electrode and make sure it's like perfect. has been allowing me to burn to zero without having to. I'm not leaving stock. I'm going to zero and having first shot burn success overnight. Uh, on some of the more complicated geometry, sometimes adding in more electrodes into the carousel helps a lot. Specifically, gates.
Mm,
Gates, your troke can wear a lot, and if you don't have enough, you're not gonna. I found it doesn't quite burn quite well enough.
okay. Okay. I like these little snippets,
Yeah,
people
and there's
listening.
I'm learning every single time I'm on the process, so try and make it better. Pretty much, be faster.
I can't imagine you're not constantly learning. And within that environment, you're probably always working on something new. So you're constantly learning from something you did in the past and applying it to something different. It's a continuous learning, right?
Yep.
And with that being said, when you're moving, so when you're going through the day and you're going to those different machining processes, like is there a mental shift there? Or is it just something that comes naturally as you're going from one to the other? Does it come naturally?
A little bit. I mean, once you get enough practice on the machines, I think it's a little bit more natural. That's why it was nice to stay on those two processes for that long of a period of time. And because we started swing shift in our shop back in August, and it's been me and one of my coworkers pretty much for the majority of the time. We've now grown our swing shift, but it was mostly me and him, and we would work together. And it was nice to be able to work with him. Very supportive and teaching me, but he let me stay with the EDM side so I could really focus the craft in that area. But for like right now, I'm moving a little bit away from it. Not that I'm not going to stop doing it, but I'm moving on to try and hone my skills in other areas. So back to machining mold plates and getting good and quick with that. And so I've been getting have to not start from zero, but it's learning curve again. It's obvious I'm not quite fast. Some of those mold plates have some tight tolerances, and the best way to get there, kind of thing. On the electrode side, I've been a lot faster.
Are you so as you've moved through from the internship to working full time and now getting promoted, do you take anything back to management to improve the training process for future employees?
I would say so. I like to communicate what worked, and then for my successes, we like to communicate that at SEL too. Want it to be success stories, or it can show our leadership. If they purchase equipment for us, we can say, "Hey, look at this," and what we were able to accomplish with that.
Yeah,
They're
it
pretty much
helps.
basically showing, "Hey, this machine you got us, or tools you got us, this helped save X amount of time on this job, or it's paid for itself already." That kind of thing,
They're going to
you know.
love to hear that, right? I mean, they want to know that
Mm-hmm.
their investment is actually making a difference and making money, reducing things, making things better. So I love that feedback.
Yep. And then since I was an intern for a long period of time, we have another intern now, and we have a summer hire, which is new for our shop, not new for the company. But and so I've been overseeing a lot of bringing them up because I'm very familiar with those kind of tasks.
That's just an added responsibility for you on the day-to-day work now. Now you're mentoring somebody else coming in.
Yeah.
When you talk to with somebody coming in, or if they're just starting out, is there one piece of advice that you find yourself giving them?
Well, I don't know have a good answer for that. We just had new hire yesterday, and so I've been kind of going through the onboarding process with him. He's only
Okay.
been here for 1 day, so I don't think I have a great
Okay.
answer for you here
Okay.
because maybe in like a month I will have a good answer for you on that. I have to think on that a little bit more.
All right, here's some bonus insights I want to get from you. Two hot topics in the industry are AI, and the continuing one, of course, it's just workforce trends. So when it comes to AI, how are you? Don't talk about the company, although I guess it's related. How are you embracing it in your job? And and if you are or aren't, are there ways where you're kind of like backing away from it? Talk to me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so the software we're using doesn't have any AI tools yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's plans. I should look into that actually.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
know some different CAD CAM softwares are offering that now, or as a more of an experimental beta. And so we don't have that, so I haven't really played a lot with AI, and so I don't have as much knowledge on this front.
Okay.
Do need to,
Interesting. So
so
there's
I'm not
nothing.
gonna.
So there's nothing like enterprise wide, like across the company that the shop itself has, I guess, invested into. Even if it's like
No,
streamlining processes, improving scheduling, like there's so
there's
many
some
different
small stuff
ways.
like that. Like we will use Copilot that's
Okay.
allowed company wide, but that's for more simple stuff for streamlining like Excel, Word.
Yep.
So just a helpful tool, but not really has been a big part of our shop with the mold making side. Sometimes we'll ask some technical questions through
Okay.
AI and
Yep.
try and get quicker answers, which that's helped, but on some of like the maybe I guess the cooler ways of using AI, we have not been implementing that as much yet.
Okay. Do you, from
I'm not an
your
expert in this front.
Okay. Do you have any opinion on where you might see? Because you're right, a lot of talk about AI will say on the front end of the process, like in the front office and even in design and engineering. It seems more obvious the applications. Do you see in the short term or long term where AI can be applied on the shop floor?
Oh, absolutely. It's gonna come pretty fast, I imagine, and get up to speed pretty quickly. I know some of the betas are already pretty good. That's more just from what I'm hearing around. But essentially, what's probably going to be for the cam side of things is you'll be able to tell the AI, hey, this is what I want to accomplish with this part or mold plate, whatever. And it'll auto populate, it'll grab from your tool library, auto populate tool paths. And then you'll just have, it'll probably be 80%, three quarters of the way there. And you just have to go through and verify and double check feed and speeds, step over, step downs, or drilling, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it'll be a helpful tool to get you most of the way there. It's going to increase output by a lot, is what I think will happen.
Does that excite you or does that make you a little fearful?
Excited, not fearful. It
Good.
can't take away what we do, in my mind, because you still have to have an operator to run the machine, add comp, you have to measure, especially on some of the molds. You have some tight
Yep.
dimensions. You have to be very careful about creeping on some dimensions. So it'll be a very helpful tool that'll make our life easier, is how I'm seeing it currently. I don't know,
I
with
love
new
it.
changes in updates in AI in the field, maybe my opinion will change, but that's my current outlook.
I love it. All right, let's turn to workforce trends because obviously, even you know that's been a challenge in manufacturing and in mold making specifically. So, in your opinion, where do you see the direction of the labor market trending, and what is SEL doing about it?
Yeah. So again, the common theme has been shortage of mold making experienced people across the board.
Yep.
And so what we've been doing is we've been hiring just well, hiring a lot more and training up. And a part of that too, two of the mold makers that we've hired recently, one was a die maker, and that translated pretty good into
Yeah.
the mold making world. It was pretty compatible. And then we hired a high level machinist, and he's been catching on very quick. We've been trying to hire people that are willing to learn and are quick to learn, and then for some hiring some of the newer to the just machining in general, and it's easier to bring them up and support them. And that's kind of been our approach to getting people up to speed in our shop, and it's been helping. And then specifically, I think what we're gonna maybe not start doing quite yet, but it'll be probably pretty soon, is kind of how I said I was doing almost like a station. I was doing an EDM station and then honing in on one area. We'll probably start doing that more and more, because just having a person on a specific process or on a specific machine for a pretty good period of time will cement their knowledge and understanding in that area. And I think that's going to help us speed up and get people up to speed faster doing it that way. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that does make sense. Like kind of becoming more specialized in the beginning, right? Into that
Yep.
process.
Because
Plus, you're able to see the impact of that process on the rest of the job too,
yeah,
correct? So,
and it's very difficult. You can't for somebody that's new. It's very difficult to get them to do the entire process. Is very advanced. Molds are complicated. Each machine provides different control, different
yeah, yep.
process. So, like in that front, I haven't done a lot of wire EDM, so that's one
Okay.
area. So, again, I'm still learning. There's so many different processes that we
I know that's
can
what's exciting.
use.
That's what's
So it just
exciting.
takes time to get good at each one.
What are you looking forward to the most coming up?
Oh, I'm pretty excited to be back in the horizontal, like I said earlier, because it's been a bit since I've been able to just. I've been machining a lot of graphite. And I'm pretty happy to be back in steel, and there's a lot to learn there. And getting faster, I can obviously see that I'm not super fast on my programming and then running machine and then measuring and then comping on the horizontal mill. It's been a while. So that's been kind of fun. I need to learn how to improve my process there and streamline that and get faster and then being more efficient in the shop.
I love it. I
So
love
that's what
it.
I'm currently excited about.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's great. And I think so. Talk to me a little bit about before we wrap this up. So this promotion to Craftsman 2, tell me a little bit about what that means in your day to day.
Not that that's just more of a byproduct of I'm very proactive and I take on a lot of extra tasks and responsibilities around the shop that might not be strictly machining. So
Okay.
just extra stuff in the I oversee some of our calibration needs. We have a calibration department and I work with them. So that's one of the bigger extra tasks that I do. And then so like the other ones like teaching and upbringing some of our new hires interns right now
I
because I
love
have
it.
had I've kind of went through that process and
You're the closest to it right now, right? So you're
yeah.
the perfect candidate to be doing that. I think that's
Hmm.
great. We need more of you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, still with the company, and I hope I'm a lot more in tune with trends in the market, understanding different machines in the market. I would say that's a little low spot in my knowledge bases. Machines are very complicated, the new ones and what they're offering, and they have crazy new technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep on learning, right? Keep on
Yeah.
learning. Thank you, Ty, for all your time. And to everyone watching, remember for everything mold making, visit moldmakingtechnology.com. Stay informed and stay inspired.